We welcome on the 2018 Halo World Champion, two-time CDL Home Series winner, rookie for the Dallas Empire, Shotzzy. Shotzzy, considering your history in Halo, is it weird to be called a rookie?
Yeah, I'd say so because I've been competing for at least 2 years. I started when I was like around 15 and a half and 16, so it's somewhat weird, but I mean, I'm used to it since I'm like technically the youngest player, technically.
Right. It's like it's not as if you just played another esport. It's like you won a world championship. I think that there have been other players that have obviously transitioned, but it's kind of weirder, I feel like, to call you a rookie. And I think even, guys like Clayster and Crimsix have kind of spoken on that a little bit in terms of like, I mean, we can call him a rookie, but it's kind of weird to say that. Like I said, kind of basis on the world championship talk coming into what will be the end of the CDL this season. That's going to be your third world championship event that you've competed in. What's different about preparing for a world championship in COD versus Halo?
So in Halo, believe it or not, we like scrimmed. I think there was like a couple months leading up to the world championship, but we scrimmed literally like probably like a full week, and that's about it leading up to Worlds in Halo. I mean, our team was just like, for some reason, when we would scrim, if anything, we were teaching the other team just because we were so like ahead of everyone for the most part, and we just understood what to do in every single scenario, which is crazy. But I mean, that's just how it was in Halo, and we just felt like we shouldn't have scrimmed because we're just teaching other people. So that's one of the reasons why we did scrim in Halo. So leading up to it, it was just playing 2v2s amongst each others, and then yeah, that's about it for the most part. Just keeping our individual skill, and then in Call of Duty, it's a little bit different because you have a set schedule Monday through Saturday. Sundays usually take your days off, but if leading up to the event, you could still practice on Sunday if you want. That's what we do, but it's just nonstop back and forth, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What's your thoughts on what you've seen so far from Halo Infinite?
It looks sick to me. I mean, like they announced like the little grunt character with like the little
Yeah.
puppy, and like there's like a little leaks with all the campaign and all that good stuff. So I'm excited for it. It looks dope so far.
Is there any chance in the off season we see you maybe trying to compete or do anything involving tournaments at all?
I hope so. Due to the league restrictions, I
Right.
don't know how that's gonna work out, but yeah, I'm gonna try to dabble my way in playing some like infinite tournaments if I can. We'll see.
What Halo player, if they switch to COD, would be a top player? You think anybody who's currently in Halo, the transition to COD, who do you think would be a top player?
I'd probably go with like Snakebite if he like 100% committed.
Hmm.
Him or Renegade, because Renegade has individual skill talent. He would just have to understand the game. And then Snakebite is just like a really smart player. Once he knows the game in and out, like he's really good, And then he would just have to, keep on grinding. So I think either those two would be really good at Call of Duty.
Now, obviously, last season, in reference to Black Ops 4, you kind of began the transition from Halo to Call of Duty. You went under the name Splice Black and played with guys like Renegade and Stellar. How did that situation exactly come about with Splice?
Splice knew that there was going to be no Halo 5 tournaments. So they decided, hey, like, you guys want to try out Call of Duty? And we're like, yeah, that sounds dope. Like, we could play Halo and Call of Duty. So obviously, we took that opportunity, and then they had to pick up two other players or one other player because it was a 5-man roster. I couldn't play at the time because I was 17, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So they had to wait until I was 18. And then they played with, I think, Teddy Rex or Ramby or something like
Hmm.
one of those two. And then I think they lost a couple tournaments, and then they decided to disband that team, but keep me, even though I was 17 at the time. I'm not sure the exact reasoning, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was on Splice until the off season of just off season.
How did you kind of prepare or rather, how did you kind of prepare for the transition from Halo to Call of Duty? Like, how did that kind of work throughout Black Ops 4?
Um, yeah, so I just played at the time. There was a guy named Andrew Onyx, and me and him would just play 2v2s. And a lot of people that I realized like the community enjoyed high roller wagers. So me and him would just play, Illy and Cellium. Illy at the time would stream, and he had like crazy amount of viewers. So
Yeah.
I got known from there. And then once his duo Stallion went over to Variant in Black Ops 4 because he was 18 years old,
Hmm.
I decided to play with or me and Ender connected with each other, and then we played. And then from there, I kind of just build a name for myself in the S&D community.
Now, toward the end of Black Ops 4, the rumors are kind of starting to circulate. Everything's kind of, beginning to set in stone. Franchising is happening with Call of Duty. Obviously, given kind of your history, the way the kind of the season ended for you in terms of Black Ops 4, trying to prepare kind of for the next year, did you expect to get an offer from any franchise teams?
No, not at all. To be honest with you, I thought I was gonna be on Splice at the time. Got a league spot, which was Toronto, or they named themselves Toronto, and I thought I was gonna be on that team, obviously. But yes, I have no idea how I got an offer like Dallas Empire. It was surprising to me at the time.
Yeah. And what? Obviously, Dallas, Toronto. Were there any other franchise teams that you know of were interested in you?
I talked, but I don't know if they were interested. Like
Hmm.
because they were just hitting up people back and forth. No one was like a set roster at the time, so they were just trying to see where my head was at the time. And I mean, I guess I could say it's not really too crazy. At the time, I talked to Florida, and then honestly, that's just about it. It was just
Yeah.
Florida.
Now, it was kind of recently in the news as of a few weeks ago about the decision Envy and Hastro made to obviously buy you out from your contract with Splice. In fact, Hastro obviously tweeted out kind of this in response to it. He said, "It was much more than what is being reported. Definitely the largest investment we have ever made into a rookie player in our 13 years." Knowing roughly the amount and the investment, as you've kind of started to talk about it a little bit, knowing the investment that the Empire put in someone like yourself at the start of the season, how does that kind of affect the mental side for you when it comes down to that amount of money and the kind of that decision to go with somebody who obviously was new with COD?
Yeah, so it was obviously really, really crazy whenever they bought me out. I didn't even expect it with
Yeah.
the amount of money that Splice had to or offered or like Envy offered Splice. And I mean, obviously it was a shock to me because I haven't competed in Call of Duty at all. So that was like a really big risk that Hastro was willing to take. And I thank him for that. And I just didn't want to the Dallas Empire down. So, I've been ever since that Minnesota launch weekend, I've literally been putting nonstop hours every single day.
Is that kind of what drives, you think, a lot of the hard work that you've put in throughout the season?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say, them taking a chance on me, really motivates me, and then, just seeing the outcome when you grind is really satisfying as well.
Now, I know we've kind of talked a little bit about the decision for Envy to buy you out and stuff like that, and kind of the mental side. Does winning kind of take away from that pressure, or does it only just kind of continue to elevate until we get the chance?
It's like a little bit of both because at the time when we were winning, it kind of you're like, oh, we're like the best team in the game, but then at the same time, you can't really lose that. You got to practice every single day and just keep on going back and forth until you perfect your craft for the most part. But yeah.
Shotzzy, along with or rather, obviously, the Empire, along with many other teams, are currently going, or rather, kind of getting used to the patch that was just released a few days ago. Give me some takes here. You've had the chance to use the Uzi a few nights in a row and tens and stuff like that. How does it feel?
It honestly feels good to me. I like running around with different types of guns, and the Uzi. I personally love it. Everyone on my team, we streamed yesterday. They're like it's kind of weird, but like once you get used to it, it's honestly really fun to get used to, or really fun to use, I should say.
How many ARs do you think we'll start to see given the new meta change?
I depending on like if everything gets GA'd, still say one right now. But if the GA like there's certain mag on the Uzi, we could potentially see two ARs. But there's like a specific mag on the Uzi that just makes it really powerful. On
Right.
top of that, like you could just beam across the map with the Uzi, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know we've seen I think the amateur side kind of start to collectively begin to kind of ban those out, if you want to kind of call it that. Kind of from the experience that you had yesterday scrimmaging, how exactly does the Empire kind of fit into this new meta? Is anybody running MP5s? Is there anyone that's kind of running an M4 that maybe wasn't? What's kind of the experience been like in the short term time that you've had to work with it?
Yeah, the experience so far, everyone is just honestly trying out new stuff. We've tried the AUG, the Vector. the Galil, and the P90 for the most part. And we've just we came to the conclusion that the Uzi is literally the best sub out there
Yeah.
currently. So we're just dabbling around with that until if any other GAs get listed, then we'll try out new stuff. But currently the Uzi is the top sub right now.
What teams do you think will benefit from this meta change?
I'm not sure if anyone will benefit necessarily. I feel like everyone, like, as long as as a power rankings, I feel like everyone's gonna be the same for the most part. But I feel like if anything, there will be teams, probably their pacing might be off because the Uzi's not as fast as the MP5 for the most part. So if anything, the pacing might be off for certain teams, but I don't think the power rankings will, be any different.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk kind of about the meta, like you mentioned, kind of really starting to slow down, not just with the MP5, but also with the no stock changes that were made. Many are kind of under the impression that fast SMGs like yourself not only will have to slow down, but also may start to struggle. What's your reaction to hearing people talk about how you may be kind of struggling given this new weapon and given the new patch?
I don't really know. When people say stuff like that, I don't really, tend to let myself listen, I guess you could say, because,
Sure.
I just do me. I grind every single day, and then, that's just it. I don't really, listen to the people that say the negative stuff for the most part.
Right. Now, we kind of talked on being a rookie a little bit earlier and how it kind of sounds odd to say, if you will, but obviously you kind of do follow under the criteria of it. I think the general consensus around the CDL is that the race for Rookie of the Year is currently between yourself and Awakening from the Florida Mutineers. What's kind of been your reaction to how great Awakening has looked in his first two events?
Yeah, that guy. I mean, I'll give it to him. I'll tip my hat to him. I think he's disgusting. A lot of people have bad stuff to say about him, but I genuinely think he's disgusting when I play against him. So, yeah, I think he's a good player overall. I think every single time we match against each other, it's going to be a good match for the most part.
Right. What do you think? I'll say this in terms of you kind of versus Awakening, in terms of that kind of like that conversation. Who do you think currently leads in that Rookie of the Year debate?
I mean, I'm probably just going to say me because it's me, but I mean, I'd say it's like neck and neck. He's had probably the best, rookie, what's it called, games, I guess you could say for the most part. Like, he literally only played 2 events so far,
Yeah,
and has won both of them. On top of that, has the highest KD in both those tournament wins. So, yeah, I mean, we are different players. He's more of a like flex. He could do everything on the map for the most part. I'm kind of just like that entry and just get kills type of guy. So, but yeah, I think he's a good player overall.
Shotzzy, last question. How often has Rambo brought up his Warzone weekend victory?
Every single day. not every day, but I don't know. I watch it back, and I can't stop laughing every single time I watch Kismet's reaction and then him just driving over the other two. It's funny to me.
We love Rambo Ray, but that's Shotzzy, 2018 Halo World Champion, 2-time CDL Home Series winner, rookie for the Dallas Empire. Shotzzy, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
No problem.